Hello everyone, I'm Saurabh Pant and today we are going to discuss the chapter known as biomolecules. I know that if the students are from the BioPC background, they are somewhere comfortable in this chapter, but still there are some students who might not be as comfortable as they are supposed to be. Because there is a very clear-cut logic there. The less you study, the less you understand. So when you are watching this video and you feel you are still weak in this chapter, that means you have to firstly read the NCERT also thoroughly, apart from knowing the tricks which will be told in this chapter, in this video part. So bhaiya, I'll be telling about the tricks, I'll be telling about the chapter, but again, you are in BioPC background. If you want to become a doctor, it is one of the most important chapters you should know because it will help you a lot in the further research as well. So make sure this thing, so bare minimum, every BioPC student should be knowing the biomolecule chapter. So let's start away. The first thing we have to discuss in biomolecules are carbohydrates. So here, देखो, earlier people were not so much scientifically equipped. So what they thought, कि all the carbohydrate they knew, all such compounds they knew, they were sweet in taste at that time. Also, they all matched this kind of a formula. That means they matched a formula of CxH2O whole Y. Now, what they thought, कि अरे यार, it is looking like a hydrate of carbon. So let us call him carbohydrate. So yes, what happened at that point of time, some people gave this kind of a logic. It was very intelligent logic at that time. Now we might find it is very logical, but at that time they found it very logical. Why? They took the example C6H12O6 like glucose, fructose. So they found, yeah, correct, yeah, 6 carbon are there. And if you take 6 common, so H2 are also 6. Similarly, sucrose also, the regular sugar that you use at your home is sucrose. Sucrose also they found that 12 carbon are there and 11 H2O are there. So people were very happy, everyone started clapping, ki yes, nice definition they have given. Then suddenly someone pointed out, ki bro, yeah, this acetic acid, CH3COOH, is it a carbohydrate? People said, no, yeah, it's not a carbohydrate as far as we know. Then someone said, if it is not a carbohydrate, then why is it matching with your definition of carbohydrate formula? Because CH3COOH, if we write, there are 2 carbons, 4 hydrogen and 2 oxygen. So 4 hydrogen, 2 oxygen I can write as H2O whole twice. So this acetic acid was matching the formula which was given by the old idea of carbohydrate, but he is not a carbohydrate. Then someone else pointed, yeah, correct, yeah, this is creating some problem because I study rhamnose. Rhamnose is also a carbohydrate. O's generally at the end when we put, they are carbohydrate. So rhamnose is also carbohydrate. Formula is C6H12O5. Bhaiya, C6H12O5, it is not possible to write in the form of CxH2O whole Y. You can try it, you can understand. 5 H2O comes, then also 2 hydrogens will be left. If you take 5 H2O common, then also out of 12 hydrogen, 2 hydrogen will be left because 5 H2O means 10 hydrogens. So we understand that it is a carbohydrate. So rhamnose is a carbohydrate but not matching with the formula given. Acetic acid is not a carbohydrate but matching with the formula given. So people understood this was very elementary idea at that time. But yeah, by that time many people started calling all these compounds as carbohydrates. So they kept the name carbohydrate only, but they changed the definition. So it is a new definition of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates chemically speaking, in chemistry point of view, they are optically active polyhydroxy. Polyhydroxy means many OH group will be there. It should be optically active also. So optically active polyhydroxy aldehydes or ketones. There are just 2 functional groups, either aldehyde or ketone. If aldehyde functional group is there, we call them aldose. If ketone functional group is there, we call them ketose. Example of ketose, only one example will come in your course, that is fructose. Fructose is a ketose. Remaining all the topics, all the monosaccharide in your course are aldose. Going ahead, optically active polyhydroxy aldehyde or ketone, or the compounds which can give such compound on hydrolysis. That means either they should be polyhydroxy aldehyde or ketone, or they should be a compound which on reaction with water should dissociate, should break, not dissociate properly, should break into 2 different units or 3 different units or 4 different units or many different units, and those units should be polyhydroxy aldehyde or ketone. So either polyhydroxy aldehyde ketone or compounds which give such units on hydrolysis. At that time one more term was there, saccharide, which was very common. It depends upon the country where the research is going on. If the research was going on in Britain, they would have used the word sugar. Going on in Greece, people used the word saccharide at that time. Saccharide means sugar. So bhaiya, saccharides are called sugars. So at that time they were sugars. All of them were sweet in taste. So that's why people started calling them saccharides also. Later on, it was found that not all the carbohydrates are sweet in taste. That is why we'll talk about it now. First, we have monosaccharides. What are monosaccharide? The name is clear. Mono, one, saccharide. That means something which will not give anything on hydrolysis. So if you take something, you take one carbohydrate, you hydrolyze it, nothing will happen, it will remain the same. It will not give any further units. So here example is glucose, fructose, ribose, one single entity, that means optically active polyhydroxy aldehyde or ketone. Now, talking about the compounds which give such unit on hydrolysis, compounds which give such units on hydrolysis are called oligosaccharide and polysaccharide. So on hydrolysis, if 2 to 10 monosaccharides are coming out, we call them oligosaccharides. Again, in biology NCERT, the definition can be different. I'm teaching chemistry. So if you are having these doubts, in biology, this is there, in chemistry, it is there. Talk to NCERT. We are just telling you what is there in NCERT here. I did not make it. NCERT is telling this, we have to teach NCERT. So if the question comes in chemistry, answer will be 2 to 10. So when you are reading biomolecules, read from both NCERT of chemistry as well as biology. And if there is a clash, follow chemistry NCERT for chemistry paper, follow biology NCERT for biology paper. Going ahead, oligosaccharide, 2 to 10 monosaccharides are there, on hydrolysis are coming out. Most of them are disaccharides. Like oligosaccharide can be disaccharide 2, trisaccharide 3, tetrasaccharide, pentasaccharide, hexasaccharide, but most commonly found are disaccharides only. Very commonly known examples I can tell you, sucrose, maltose, this we will study now after this slide. Going ahead, polysaccharide means more than 10 monosaccharides will be coming out. So many monosaccharides come out, we call them polysaccharide. So bhaiya, monosaccharide remain monosaccharide. Oligosaccharide give 2 to 10 monosaccharides on hydrolysis, on reaction with water. Polysaccharides gives more than 10 monosaccharide on hydrolysis. One more thing, polysaccharides are not sweet in taste. So that's why we call them non-sugar also. Now some people have this doubt, ki sir, if polysaccharides are not sweet in taste, why you are calling them saccharide? We are not calling them saccharide, we are calling them polysaccharide. Polysaccharide means they are made up of many saccharides. So bhaiya, even though it is not sweet in taste, they are non-sugar, but we are not calling them saccharide, we are calling them polysaccharide. That means they are made up of 10 or more than 10 monosaccharide, and these monosaccharides are sweet in taste. So it is not practically wrong calling them polysaccharides. So if such kind of doubts are coming in the stomach, it's okay, you can digest it, it's not a big deal. Going ahead, what are reducing sugars? So if your organic part is clear up to now, you will understand reducing sugars, we can say those people who can reduce Fehling solution and Tollens reagent. In general, in organic chemistry, we learn that aldehydes can reduce Tollens reagent and Fehling solution in general. There are exceptions also. I'm not talking about exceptions at all. This is not the organic lecture going on. So bhaiya, any sugar who can reduce Fehling solution or Tollens reagent, sugar, non-sugar, any carbohydrate which can reduce Fehling solution and Tollens reagent, they are called reducing sugars. In our course, for talking about NEET UG course only, understand this trick which I am telling you will work for only NEET UG course. There are still some examples which are beyond the NCERT, beyond your syllabus, which you might learn in the MBBS, which will contradict this logic. The logic is that all the monosaccharide, here no problem, all the monosaccharide, later on also you will learn, all the monosaccharides are reducing sugar. Whereas all the oligosaccharide except sucrose, are reducing sugar. That means monosaccharides, all of them in your course, all the oligosaccharide in your course except sucrose are reducing sugars, and all the polysaccharide in your course are non-reducing sugar. This logic will change after MBBS, but you still have 2-3 months left for the NEET examination, 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, whatever the government decides. But understand, till that this logic will happily work, no confusion will come, you will not lose any marks. So bhaiya, all the monosaccharides and all the oligosaccharides are reducing sugar except sucrose. Sucrose is a disaccharide, but he is not a reducing sugar. I will talk about this in detail also, why and what. And all the polysaccharide in your course are non-reducing sugars. That means they cannot reduce Fehling solution and Tollens reagent. Now if your organic chemistry is okay, then the question might come, ki sir, fructose is ketose. You just now told fructose is ketose. It has a ketone functional group. And sir, aldehyde, you also told just now that aldehyde can reduce Tollens reagent and Fehling solution, but not ketones. Then sir, how is that possible that fructose, because sir, fructose is a monosaccharide, fructose is a ketose also. How is that possible that a ketose, because you said monosaccharides are reducing sugar. So how is that possible that a ketose is able to reduce Fehling solution and Tollens reagent, sir? So bhaiya, this credit goes to this equilibrium, which can also be regarded as LBN rearrangement. So what the equilibrium is, if you put glucose in the aqueous medium, if you ever put glucose in the aqueous medium, it will get converted to mannose, some of the glucose, and fructose. It's not like mannose become fructose, fructose become mannose. It's like whatever you add mannose, then bhaiya it will become glucose and fructose. You add fructose, it will become mannose and glucose. You add glucose, it will become mannose and fructose. The basic elementary idea in the chemical equilibrium is that equilibrium can be achieved from any direction. So bhaiya, if you add glucose in the solution or mannose in the solution or fructose in the solution, they all will come in mutual equilibrium. That means aqueous solution of fructose, which is a ketose, will form mannose and glucose. That means which will form aldose and aldose. Both are aldose. That means they have aldehyde groups. So even though fructose do not have himself an aldehyde group, but in the aqueous medium, he comes in equilibrium with other compounds which have aldehyde groups. So the aqueous solution of fructose becomes reducing in nature, becomes a reducing sugar. So if we remove water, then what? Yeah, all the tests of Fehling solution and Tollens reagent, they contain water, because Fehling solution, Tollens reagent, they both have water only here. Dry, no reaction occurs of Fehling solution and Tollens reagent. In short, fructose is also a reducing sugar, all thanks to Albion rearrangement, which makes sure, this rearrangement makes sure, this equilibrium makes sure that fructose comes in equilibrium with mannose and glucose. So the aqueous solution of fructose, not because of him, but because of these two people, become reducing in nature. So bhaiya, these are the things regarding the reducing, non-reducing sugars. Now I will enter into the glucose part. So let us carry on here. So now let us talk about glucose. Glucose, as per the chemistry NCERT, if we talk about it, is also found in the ripe grapes. Sufficient quantity is found in the ripe grapes as per the chemistry NCERT. Now, it is found in the sweet fruits as well as honey. General formula that we come to know is C6H12O6 there. Now, how it is prepared? We take sucrose. Sucrose in the acidic medium. For acidic medium, what we take? We either take dilute HCl or we take alcoholic H2SO4. Both will work fine. So dilute HCl or alcoholic H2SO4 in the acidic medium, sucrose will get hydrolyzed to form glucose and fructose. One here, very interesting thing happens here. Sucrose is dextrorotatory. Dextro means if you send plane polarized light through sucrose, it will go towards the right side. It will deviate towards the right side. So it was dextrorotatory. After the reaction, the glucose is formed, fructose is formed in 1:1 ratio, equimolar ratio. Glucose is dextro plus rotation and fructose has minus, that is levo rotation. So if you see, as per the magnitude, the overall rotation is going to come as negative, because plus 52.5 degree minus 92.4 degree. So overall rotation is going to be negative, that is levorotatory. So bhaiya, sucrose is dextro. The product after hydrolysis is levo. That's why this reaction is also known as inversion of cane sugar or inversion of sugar, because what was the dextrorotatory now became levorotatory. Here very important thing is there here. The product glucose plus fructose, the product is called as invert sugar. Why? Because the sugar was plus, product is minus, so we call it invert sugar. So what is this plus minus? I just told you, rotation of the plane polarized light. Then understand one more thing here, glucose and fructose both have the same formula, but still they are two different compounds. That means they are isomers. Which isomers? Functional isomers. Why? Here glucose is aldose and fructose is ketose. This is aldehyde functional group, this is ketone functional group. Going ahead, other method, we can take starch and cellulose. Like sucrose was a disaccharide, we can also take starch and cellulose. Starch, cellulose, they are polysaccharides. Starch and cellulose are polysaccharides. Sir, they both are same or different? Obviously different, but luckily they both have the same monosaccharide unit, that is glucose. So both of them in the acidic hydrolysis, 393 Kelvin, 2 to 3 atm pressure, high pressure, little temperature higher, for the faster hydrolysis, you will get glucose. So they are made up of glucose only. So if you want glucose by hydrolysis, you can use starch and cellulose also. Now, glucose is aldohexose. How we name it? Aldehyde functional group, so aldo. 6 carbons, so hexose. So aldose also we can call it, hexose also we can call it, as well as aldohexose also we can call it, because there are 6 carbons, so hexose. It is having aldehyde functional group. So why we call it aldohexose? Because aldehyde functional group is there, so we can call it aldose. 6 carbons are there, we can call it hexose. So we can also call it aldohexose. Why? Because aldehyde is there, functional group, and 6 carbons are there, so aldohexose. It is also known as dextrose. Why? Because it is dextrorotatory, so it is also known as dextrose. चलिए, so let us see this structure of glucose actually came into being. How that structure came, I will discuss later. It's a revision video, so we can jump, shuffle here and there a little bit, not a problem. This is D-glucose structure. What is D-glucose? Understand, CHO must be on the top and OH group on the right side. The last OH, the last chiral carbon OH on the right side, such optical, we can say, compounds are called as D. From where they came? This is called relative configuration, capital D, capital L. Understand, this capital D, capital L has nothing to do with dextro-levo rotation. Capital D does not mean it will have a dextro-rotatory nature, or capital L does not mean it will have a levo-rotatory nature. It is just a relative comparison we have done with glyceraldehyde. So at that time, some scientists were there, very elementary kind of knowledge was there at that time also. So they found in the glyceraldehyde, when the OH group was on the right side, so it was rotating the plane polarized light on the right side for glyceraldehyde. And they found when OH was on the left side, so it was rotating on the, means the OH group on the left side, so the plane polarized light was rotated on the left side. So people thought maybe just like glyceraldehyde, everyone else will be behaving in the same way, ki right side OH means dextro, left side OH means levo. But it was found that it was not correct. Now we very well know in the organic chemistry optical rotation part that OH group left side, right side does not matter. You have to experimentally found it is dextro or levo rotatory. But anyway, using this reference of glyceraldehyde, people found the DLL configuration. And what the configuration says? If OH group is on the right side in the structure, we call it D configuration. If OH group is on the left side, we call it L configuration. So this is D-glucose. And for checking OH on the right and left, always check the last chiral carbon. Also, always check the functional group should be on the top. So for D-glucose only in your course, L-glucose is not there. Actually, L-glucose have a different structure altogether. So if you find a question of L-glucose, you might feel, sir, it is not matching with exactly what you told. But again, I'm just focusing upon the NCERT and NEET syllabus. There might be some material, they might deviate you from the NCERT. Understand, they are just wasting your time in the most crucial manner, in this most crucial time. So understand, focus upon NCERT and related questions for biomolecule chapter and such related chapters like which are in general chemistry. Going on, so OH group on the right side, D-glucose. If OH group on the left side, L-glucose. Who is the reference there? Reference is glyceraldehyde. ठीक है भाई साहब? Capital D, capital L has any relation with dextro-levo? नहीं यार. Capital D, capital L is just relative configuration. It has no relation with dextro or levo rotation. Now, talking about the chemical reactions which gave us the idea about this structure is that, firstly, glucose we took, formula we knew, C6H12O6. When we treated with HI, HI is a reducing agent, we got N-hexane. So people came to know N-hexane is coming, straight chain hexane is coming. That means all the carbons are arranged in the straight chain, there is no branching there. Then reaction with hydroxylamine, when we try to react this with hydroxylamine, we tried for every functional group. And hydroxylamine is a test of aldehyde and ketone. So we were trying to give every single reagent that we can give to identify which functional group is there. So luckily for us, it was found that NH2OH was reacting with glucose happily, forming such kind of a compound. So we understood that if hydroxylamine is reacting, to form oxime, this is called as oxime. And if the oxime is getting formed, that means there is a C double bond O group. Now still there was no guarantee. Here I have represented the structure as CH double bond NOH, but understand there is no guarantee yet. Chronologically explaining, there is no guarantee that NOH came in the first carbon or second carbon or third carbon or fourth carbon. Was it aldehyde? Was it ketone? Still no idea. But if hydroxylamine is reacting, that means either aldehyde or ketone is there. Then what happens? Then they reacted with HCN. With HCN they got cyanohydrin. Cyanohydrin is this structure. HCN is also, this is also a reaction of C double bond O group. This is also a reaction of C double bond O group. So both this reaction, that glucose was reacting with hydroxylamine as well as HCN, it was found that here C double bond O group at least is there. Now the next question was, straight chain I understood, functional group I understood. Now the question is, sir, aldehyde or ketone? Let's see. So then bromine water was taken. It is mild oxidizing agent. Bromine water is a mild oxidizing agent. What does it mean? Bromine water can oxidize aldehyde, but he cannot oxidize ketone. It can oxidize aldehyde, but it cannot oxidize ketone. Ketone require a much better oxidizing agent for the oxidation. So bhaiya, what happened? When bromine water was taken, we got a compound known as gluconic acid. and gluconic acid, people knew the structure very well, as well as they came to know कि भैया if acid is formed, that means the C double bond O group which was there is aldehyde group, because only aldehyde can be oxidized to gluconic to COOH group by using the mild oxidizing agent like bromine water. तो भैया glucose gave gluconic acid, so one thing was clear that CHO group is there. So who proved CHO group presence? Bromine water. ठीक है भाई साहब. Going ahead, then we took acetic anhydride. Acetic anhydride is CH3COO. We can say COO. CH3. That means this kind of a structure is there. CH3 C double bond O C double bond O CH3. Badhiya. This is acetic anhydride. So when this react with alcohol group, है ना, what happens? Kind of a esterification kind of a reaction happens and we get acetates. ठीक है ना? So what happens there? Acetic anhydride reacted with glucose and we found that 5 moles of acetic anhydride are reacting with 1 mole of glucose. That means forming a pentaacetate. So one thing was clear कि there are how many OH group? 5. Why? Because it is making a pentaacetate. तो भैया straight chain proved by HI reduction. C double bond O group proved by NH2OH and HCN reaction, and bromine water proved that C double bond O group is in the form of aldehyde. Now bhaiya acetic anhydride is making pentaacetate, that means there are 5 OH groups. Now the question arises, 5 OH group are on the same carbon or different? So bhaiya anyone with the basic knowledge of chemistry can say they must be on different carbon. Why? Because if the OH group are on same carbon, then bhaiya dehydration happens and it cannot be stable because of too much repulsion of the lone pair. तो भैया because the glucose is sufficiently stable, it does not break, usually by heating also, by hydrolysis also does not break easily. So we understand भैया COH possibility is not there. That means all the OH group must be in different carbon. Why? Because the glucose is stable and there are 5 OH group. How we can say? Because we got pentaacetate. Then when glucose was treated with HNO3, as well as when gluconic acid, this acid, gluconic acid, one COOH group is there. When gluconic acid was also treated with HNO3, now HNO3 is sufficiently strong oxidizing agent, sufficiently strong. So what he does, he oxidizes the aldehyde group also, he oxidizes the primary alcohol also. This is primary alcohol. This is aldehyde group. So bhaiya HNO3 oxidizes primary alcohol group also, aldehyde group also, both into carboxylic acid, and this acid is known as saccharic acid. This compound is known as saccharic acid. So we found that glucose as well as gluconic acid both are forming saccharic acid. So one thing was clear, out of 5 OH, one of them is primary alcohol which is forming the COOH group, and remaining OH are secondary alcohol, and by this people understood कि अच्छा, one aldehyde will always come in corner. One primary alcohol, that is also at the last will come, and remaining are secondary alcohol. So bhaiya everyone got this structure here. So who told about straight chain? HI. Who told about the CO group? Hydroxylamine reaction, SCN reaction. Who told about that CO group is aldehyde, bromine water mild oxidizing agent? Who told that the alcohols are OH groups are 5 there? Acetic anhydride reaction giving pentaacetate. Finally, who told that out of 5 OH, one of them is primary alcohol? HNO3 showed that saccharic acid is formed. That means out of 5 OH, one of them should be primary alcohol. So, bhaiya, iti Shri glucose katha sampannam. Now we'll go to the next part. Now, bhaiya, after understanding glucose structure, people were very happy. They like, okay, now we have done the record-breaking thing we have done. We'll get the Nobel Prize now. But suddenly, some reactions happened. They were very doubtful. Like some doubtful cases came, and which led to the discovery of the cyclic structure of glucose. So what happened there? For example number 1, first thing what happened, glucose contained aldehyde group. So people were very happy. Chalo, theek hai, aldehyde group we have done. We have seen aldehyde group is there. So they started running the test of aldehyde on the glucose. But they found that 2,4-DNP does not react with the glucose. If Skiff reagent does not react with glucose, Skiff test is not coming up. NaHCO3 does not react with glucose to form the addition compound. So bhaiya Skiff test is not shown. NaHCO3 does not react. 2,4-DNP does not react. So bhaiya all this test of aldehyde is not shown by glucose. So people understood that aldehyde is there or maybe not there. That means partially there, partially not there. That means the aldehyde structure, the aldehyde group is not free here, because some reactions which happen very easily, they are happening, but the reactions which do not happen easily, they are not happening. Then pentacetate of glucose. Remember, this was formed when the glucose reacted with acetic anhydride. Pentacetate of glucose should contain CHO group, na? Pentacetate of glucose must contain CHO group because OH, only those groups reacted, CHO remained as it is. But this person is not reacted with hydroxylamine. Understand clearly? Sir, will glucose react with hydroxylamine? Ha! Glucose reacts with hydroxylamine. But pentacetate of glucose is not reacting with hydroxylamine. That means 100%. This indicates that CHO group is not perfectly free. It is not perfectly free. It is not completely free. So, bhaiya, this gave the idea, yaar. Apart from this, one more thing happened. But this majorly, these two reactions gave the idea that there is some cyclic structure of glucose there in which the CHO group is not completely free. Going ahead, if you take concentrated glucose at 303 Kelvin and you do some crystallization, then you are going to get a glucose whose melting point was 419 Kelvin and optical rotation was 111 degree. So people called it alpha glucose. I'll tell you why alpha and beta and how the structures are there. They are called anomers also. But let's understand what happened chronologically. Concentrated glucose gave alpha glucose, on crystallization, and melting point was 419 Kelvin of that. Hot and saturated aqueous solution of glucose when I took and I crystallized it at a high temperature, heat at 371 Kelvin, and then at hot condition we are crystallizing it, then we get beta glucose. That means another glucose whose melting point was a little higher. And rotation was very different because it was 111 degree rotation. Here the rotation was only 19.2 degree. So people understood there are two different kinds of glucose coming out. With the straight chain structure, this kind of possibility was not there. And this alpha glucose, beta glucose are known as anomers. Now, to understand anomer, we have to firstly understand what was the expected scenario. So this is the Howard projection, we can say. This kind of a structure was expected here. What happened? People gave the theory that the fifth carbon O group attacked on the carbon of the aldehyde group. ठीक है भाई साहब. Now some people ask, sir, why only fifth carbon here? देखो, I can make you fool easily by saying because it will make a six-membered ring. Six-membered ring is very stable. But understand, yeah, what is there is there. You are reading nature. Respect the beauty of the reactions that are happening. It is found to happen like this because by experimental results, people got this idea. That was a real reason of getting this. Now theories, so I can make any year. I can easily make you satisfied by saying 6-membered ring will be formed very stable. In fructose 5-membered rings are formed, which is also stable. 4-membered, 7-membered are not stable. But don't waste your time in the unnecessary things. Admire the beauty of the reaction. Okay, this is what was the expected thing. This is the best guess the mankind could have done. So, bhaiya, what is there is there. Fifth carbon oxygen, the OH group, attacks on the C double bond O here. So why the attack on C double bond O? That is expected because the carbon contains delta plus here. Because the double bonded oxygen will give delta minus to himself. Carbon will get delta plus. Attack happens here. And what happens, you can understand. This is the first carbon, aldehyde group. Just not simple numbering I have done. Second, third, fourth, fifth. And this is the sixth carbon. So fifth carbon OH attaches here. So I have written this structure 2 times. As it is structured, second carbon, right side OH. Third carbon, left side. Fourth carbon, right side. Fifth carbon, right side O attached to carbon. Here also, second carbon, right side as usual. Third carbon, left side as usual. Fourth carbon, right side. Fifth carbon, right side attached on the carbon here. Now, you understand how many chiral centers are there in the straight chain. In straight chain structure, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 chiral centers here. There are 4 chiral carbons here. We can say chiral to kya? Unsymmetrical kind of carbon. There are 4 clear cut there. Whereas, when you see this structure now, you understand first carbon was not chiral here. Second was chiral, 1, 2, 3, 4. Third was chiral. Fourth was chiral. Fifth was chiral. But bhaiya, first carbon was not chiral up to now. But now there is a possibility of this carbon to become chiral. Why? Understand, chiral carbon means all the 4 groups different. So second, third, fourth, fifth, second, third, fourth, fifth, second, third, fourth, fifth, there is no problem. They are chiral. 2, 3, 4, 5. They are chiral carbons. Now here, the first carbon which you are going to get has a different chain down, a different chain up. You can understand, here it is connected to second carbon, here it is connected to fifth carbon. On the left side, let us say we have H. On the left side, let us say we have H. And now O is attached here. What happens to this hydrogen? This hydrogen goes and attached to this oxygen here. So what happened? OH group is going to come. That OH group can be going inside like this. That means 1, 2, 3, 4. All the 4 groups are different. So in such a scenario, you can understand there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chiral centers now. And all the chiral centers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So understand, as soon as you see this, the doubt will come, sir, OH can be inside, OH can be outside also, na? 100%. OH can be on the right side also, as well as OH can be on the left side also. So the aldehyde group which is going to get this O attached here, H attached to the oxygen here, what can happen? This will become chiral now. Chiral means H is there, this group was there. Now one group O something is coming. You can in fact write O here to make it look better. You can write the O here. You will understand it is attached to O here. Similarly, this also is attached to O here. So we understand now this carbon attached to O, carbon attached to OH, carbon attached to H, carbon attached to another big chain. It is now a chiral carbon. This is also having 5 chiral center, 5 chiral carbons are there. And the important part is that this first carbon, which was previously the aldehyde group, can have OH on the right side as well as left side. So bhaiya, the C1 carbon here is called anomeric carbon. So what is anomeric carbon? The carbon which had hypothetically, theoretically, the structure we saw, straight chain structure, which had CHO group, or we can say which had C double bond O group. So bhaiya, the first carbon was having C double bond O group here, the aldehyde group here, which in the cyclic structure has become a chiral carbon now. So this carbon number 1 is called anomeric carbon. On the anomeric carbon, the OH is on the right side, we call it alpha carbon. If the OH has a D configuration on the anomeric carbon, we call it alpha carbon. So if alpha carbon means anomeric carbon is D. D means OH on the right side. Whereas for beta, we say the anomeric carbon is L. The anomeric carbon is L. That means OH on the left side. So if someone asks you alpha glucose, beta glucose, what's the difference in the structure? So difference is only and only in the anomeric carbon. That means the carbon which had the aldehyde group in the straight chain structure, which became a chiral carbon in the cyclic structure, if in that case, if in that carbon, the OH is on the right side, we call it alpha glucose. If the OH is on the left side, we call it beta glucose. Understand one more thing? In this case, alpha D plus glucose I have written. Alpha D plus glucose I have written here, if you see properly. And in the case of beta, I have written beta D. It's not minus, it is plus. Beta D plus glucose, because we know alpha glucose, beta glucose both are plus. To understand this D, from where this D came? This D came from the last carbon having O on the right side. This D came from the last carbon having O on the right side. This plus came experimentally by checking the optical rotation. So understand, alpha, beta, D plus minus L have no relation with each other. You have to remember them separately only. Alpha glucose can be D also, L also. Both possibilities are there. It can be D also, L also. It can be plus also, minus also. Glucose is plus only, but some other structures you will see, like fructose, you will see where the minus will come. So plus minus have no relation with D, L, have no relation with alpha, beta. Understand, D and L came from which carbon here? Fifth carbon on the right side D, left side L. Anomeric carbon on the right side OH, alpha. On the left side OH, beta. So, they have no relation with each other. And sir, what about plus minus? Plus minus is actual rotation, which is just experimentally found. It has no relation with the structure directly. So, this is what we understood. Alpha and beta carbons are there. They are anomeric carbon, OH on the right side, alpha, OH on the left side, beta. Now, we will tell you a trick of writing the whole structure easily. By this time, straight chain, cyclic, everything we understood. Now, I will tell you a trick by which you will be able to write the structure of glucose, fructose, galactose, all of them very easily, mannose also. So let us carry on.